Hey guys, hope this message finds you well. This is Augustino. I was actually talking to a friend of mine who's having some money issues, and when you're having money problems, the first thing to do is to quit spending money on things that don't produce money. So if you think about it for a second, if you own a home, does the home produce money? The thing that you probably never heard growing up is that your house is a liability. It is not an asset. Not an asset. Owning a house is the biggest debt trap for most of the people that own them. It restricts their options and it holds them to one location. When you look at inflation and market forces plus other costs like taxes, maintenance, all the other upkeep you have, you end up losing money in the deal. Most people buy the wrong kind of real estate, is really what it comes down to. Most people shouldn't be buying a house. This is opposite of what we're told growing up. I was even suckered into this way of thinking too. So as of June 2022, okay, 61% of Americans were living paycheck to paycheck. In general, 40% of companies, small companies and individuals, private companies, 40% of them are profitable. Only 40%. 30% break even and 30% lose money. So that's really what it comes down to, is like the people that are buying these places can't really afford them to begin with. So what is really going on? Why is all this happening? That's really the one question here. So the only people that are trying to make sense of a house are the people that are trying to sell you on the concept of home ownership. So specifically the lender, the banks. The thing is, homes are not built for people. Homes are built for banks. The banks created that product to sell money to people, and because you just can't loan money, for what purpose would you have to loan it, right? You need a product between the bank and the consumer. A house is that product. The bank can't lend money for just lending money. You need a reason to borrow that money. So if you're starting a business, for instance, that's a good reason to do it. Well, that could be the reason, but to the bank, that's a risky endeavor. They don't know. There's nothing tangible backing that concept up. But if it's tied to an asset like a house and you put down a nice chunk of change on that property and you're locked in for 30 years, the bank will certainly lend on that. So you may be asking, then why are banks lending then? Well, here's the thing. When you deposit $1 with the bank, they're able to lend that dollar out 7 to 9 times, depending on the lender. Right? These are the FDIC rules. Okay, the rules say that as long as they have a deposit, they're able to lend that same dollar out 7 to 9 times. So like I mentioned before, they need an asset to lend on. So back in the 50s, after World War II, all the soldiers are getting back from fighting a very hard war. The banks are like, everybody should buy a home. We'll sell it part of the American dream, a home for everybody. The politicians got behind it, media got behind it, they pushed this whole concept. These homes were built for banks. The banks are making all the money over the long term. Not even the builder or the developer make any money on that. So understanding that people don't have cash available just sitting around, the banks offer debt. So you go and borrow this debt. You put down a hefty down payment and you commit to making payments over the next 30 years. It's a huge win for the bank. So when you do that commitment, you tie up your equity and you lose your ability to follow a job or to move to a place that suits you and your family far better than where you're at now. So it really restricts your personal abilities to move and professionally as well. You're giving up your ability to build a better life and keep it into a cash flowing asset for the bank is what you're doing. It's cash flow for them, not for you. So people believe that one day my home will be worth a bunch of money. In actuality, it's trapping people. These people are making their biggest investment in their home when they should be making that investment in themselves or in a cash flowing real estate asset. Your home doesn't cash flow. You're putting cash into it just to keep it. It's a liability. So why am I telling you all this? Well, my job, what I do is I create tools for financial freedom. That's what I do. That's how I want to help people do that. So never has anyone created financial freedom buying a house. No one's ever done that. It's never been done. Okay. And I can tell you that Chase Bank will lend me money to buy real estate, but they won't lend me money to buy their own stock. All right. It's a pretty good indicator of what they actually believe what a good investment actually is. All my cash goes into hard assets like real estate. deals like the Rockefeller Building in downtown Cleveland. That's been there for over 100 years. It'll be there for 100 more, and it's going to continue producing cash flow, especially once the deal is converted. Right? Once we convert it to multifamily, it's going to continue producing cash flow. Our net lease assets, like this building behind me here, it's going to keep producing cash flow as well, monthly cash flow in that case, in a case of a net lease type of deal, right? Single tenant net lease deal. So, and it produces cash flow in good times and in bad. All right. And speaking of bad times, the media is pushing all this negativity all the time, right? There's a whole thing around that. If you want to know more about how that works, I can happily explain it to you. But we as humans want to see what's going on in the negative world and protect ourselves from it. That's what it really comes down to. It's biological. But I believe that we are on a cusp of a huge opportunity. This isn't all doom and gloom. The key is to understand the rules that are being played, right? Especially what the wealthy do. The wealthy play by the rules of investing. For many of these people, they're investing in homes and they're investing in rather properties that produce cash flow. They're not doing homes and cars and things like that until they have enough cash to serve them as a luxury. It's a luxury item. It is not for cash flow. It is not for cash flow. They buy businesses. They don't save cash. They invest in companies and get cash flow. And real estate is basically a company, if you think about it. Cash flow from your assets should be paying for your roof over your head, your car, your living expenses, not selling hours of your life. That is not how you do it. I was told the wrong way, just like you were. So if you want to know more about how this works and want to build some financial freedom, click the link in the description, book a call. Happy to talk to you about it. Happy to share more about what we're doing. And of course, if you want to learn more, go ahead and hit the YouTube channel as well. We have a ton of material out there. We talk a lot about real estate and interview some great guests that have talked about this as well. Be bulletproof, guys. I'll talk to you soon.